OC search underway, GM candidates being interviewed. The latest that I have seen from our buddy Jonathan Jones, it might be good to get Jonathan on from CBS Sports, talking about the Titans interview requests. We mentioned Eric Bieniemy and Matt Nagy, about a week old interest, which, by the way, would mean that they were submitting requests while still technically employing Todd Downing, which is an interesting note to me, as Josina Anderson points out. I'm told the Titans' requests for both Chiefs OC Eric Bieniemy and senior assistant and quarterback coach Matt Nagy are not recent. Jeremy Fowler, by the way, the first to report those. Interest was established over a week ago. So, interest established over a week ago means they're sniffing around while Todd's still on the payroll. Okay, that is what it is, but just something to keep in mind. She adds, I'm told Bieniemy is focused on head coaching opportunities, and Nagy has yet to confirm Tennessee's request, per league source. Additionally, the Falcons quarterback coach, Charles London, is interviewing for the OC job here.
London, who's been here before.
He has. So something to keep in mind as we move forward, a variety of different candidates at this point, actual candidates being discussed. Cliff Kingsbury off the table for reasons that we'll get into tomorrow for winners and losers of the sports weekend. And Bill O'Brien apparently is still the OC for Alabama until further notice. So we'll see what happens. I really haven't seen his name tossed out there a lot.
Bill O'Brien? Yeah. I haven't either. And there's changes at Alabama. Alabama's defensive coordinator out before Bill O'Brien's officially out.
Saw that.
Pete Golding headed to Ole Miss.
You don't think there's a chance he go? I mean, I have no idea. It would just be purely guessing. I don't know anybody at Alabama like that, but would Bill O'Brien go back
to Alabama?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that is. It didn't seem like that is where things were trending. I know Bama fans are kind of over him.
It feels like the right time to move on with Bryce Young and Jahmyr Gibbs moving on to the draft. But I don't know. I mean, who knows what his prospects will look like? I'm with you. I haven't seen his name floated out there. I wouldn't have expected Alabama to have to make a hire at defensive coordinator before offensive coordinator this offseason.
615-737-1045. We'll get to the general manager stuff here in a second. Stark in Nashville up first. What's up?
Hey, Buck. I know I'm on the clock. I got three thoughts real quick. One, I think hiring Bieniemy is almost a bigger risk as an offensive coordinator than a head coach just because he never called plays. I know Vrabel has hired people like that before, but if he goes in an interview as a head coach says, I'm going to delegate that out. I've been around Andy Reid. Secondly, what do you think about Ryan Cowden? I mean, I think he's got tons of experience. I don't know if he's kind of tainted with John Robinson, but, I mean, I know maybe he and Vrabel work well together, so that could be something that they're looking internally at. And thirdly, no punter has ever kicked before. They punt. A kicker doesn't punt. The locker room in an NFL stadium's locker room, not a dress room. It's not where you put your jorts on at Old Navy. And finally, that the NFL teams are in the playoffs. They're not in a tournament. They don't get invited. So those are my thoughts. And congratulations on the Indiana new quarterback from Tennessee.
Thank you, Star.
Well, I like that.
That was an efficient call.
That was very pointed. I agree with a couple of things he said, not all of it. But Taven Jackson, we didn't even talk about that. From the Tennessee transfer portal to Indiana.
Okay.
Going to go join his big bro.
They beat Wisconsin. Well, his big brother, I have my own.
You got problems with him?
I don't have problems with him. It's better that he's back than not, but still, they piss me off. Don't talk to me about Indiana. I'm having a good day.
I couldn't agree more on the kicker-punter thing. Like, punters don't kick, they punt.
Okay.
I hate when referees come out.
I am not getting into this conversation.
And I hear roughing the kicker on what was a punt. It's not a kick, it's a punt. There's a difference.
All right, you and Stark can have your meetings about this and go over it and vent together. We'll give you a time for some weekly positivity. Let me first say on the OC situation, I think that they almost have to have somebody with play calling experience here. I don't think that if you are going to make the move that you did with Downing, it cannot be with somebody who you don't know how they're going to be situationally.
Does it have to be NFL play calling experience?
I think that would be preferable.
Because Bieniemy technically has play calling experience from his 2 years at Colorado.
So that's been some time though.
11, 12.
My personal preference, if I was submitting things to Mike Vrabel's suggestion box, which he has told us before is the trash can by his desk, if I was sending my suggestions to his trash can, I would say, it is probably in your best interest to have somebody who you know can handle themselves in these situations. Now, there's 7 other NFL teams who are probably thinking the exact same thing. And Mike is adept at identifying coaching talent. So you have to take that into account. I do not question Mike Vrabel's ability to identify people who he thinks can operate on the same plane as him. But you have to know, it has to be a known commodity when it comes to in-game, because that is the thing that I think that killed Todd Downing more than anything. Off the field transgressions aside, like him just having these brain fart moments where all of a sudden it's a completion to Traylon Burks that Traylon is trying to backwards lateral across, and not like it's not like in a moment where they need something. They're doing it like on the first possession or something against the Jags. Just the weirdest moments, the white knuckle moments that you seem to have with Downing. You're going to have that no matter who, at some point, no matter who your coordinator is. But you have to have somebody that you can trust.
Okay, but here's the thing. Is it safe to say, given the fact that one got fired, the other 2 got head coaching opportunities, that Mike Vrabel is 2 for 3 on offensive coordinator hires, right?
I mean, listen, they were the number one. Todd Downing deserves credit for being a part of the thing that got them to the number 1 overall seed. I'm not taking that from Todd, but yes.
But based on the end result that Todd Downing is fired, the other 2 got head coaching gigs. He is 2 for 3 on hiring offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
The 2 that worked were not play callers previously. The one that didn't was. Mm-hmm. Downing had play calling experience. LaFleur and Arthur Smith did not.
Mm-hmm. So that's an important note.
I mean, I know every situation is different, but just something to keep in mind as we move forward here.
I just think there needs to be a heavier emphasis on it now, given what they are as a football team, given the questions that they have, and specifically to the usage of the players that they have. Derrick Henry on 3rd and 2, keep him on the field. Steve is in Nashville up next. Hey, Steve.
Thanks for taking my call, my friend. I'll
Sure.
be quick as well. I agree with everything the guy said earlier about Eric Bieniemy. It's a huge risk because he doesn't call anything. And it's kind of equate this to the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady offense. Bieniemy's just doing what Mahomes wants to do. I think your better candidate is probably – nobody talks about this yet – Joe Brady up in Buffalo and Byron Leftwich are 2 really good candidates. And thirdly, and I will answer your Alabama question, huge Alabama fan. Doesn't make me real happy, but I heard that Jeremy Pruitt will go back and be the DC at Alabama, and it doesn't make me happy. But Bill O'Brien allegedly is gone.
Lucas just got the biggest smile on his face. Thank you, Steve, for the call.
Thank you.
We bring old cornbread back to Alabama? How about that, bud? That get you excited?
I need to actually know, because Pruitt is a fantastic defensive coordinator. And if I was an Alabama fan, that's exactly who I would want back in that chair.
What, instead of doing weekly podcast hits with Dogs Unlimited or whatever that thing is?
Yeah, with
I shouldn't be dismissive. I know that's like a
Mike Griffith. I know
that's like a highly consumed thing, so let me not be dismissive. I don't mean to be dismissive that way. I just didn't know the name of the podcast.
I haven't seen any reports about Jeremy Pruitt. I don't know what his potential show cause would look like. I mean, we got to remember.
Is he hireable?
Yeah.
Because other than him and Dooley going to work for Joe Judge on the Giants staff and being made to run laps and stuff like, which I would pay I would give up a year's salary to get video of Joe Judge making his staff, including Pruitt and Dooley, run laps at practice when he was with the Giants.
I mean, he has not gotten hit with the show cause, but there are some unresolved issues from the NCAA mess that he left at Tennessee that Alabama would have to circumvent in order to hire Jeremy Pruitt. But yeah, if I'm a Bama fan, I'm screaming from the rooftops, please bring him back.
Luke in Nashville is next. Hey, Luke.
Hey, good afternoon, y'all.
Good afternoon.
One, Bieniemy, Leftwich, they're 1 year higher. If they come here and they do great, yes, they're going to get snatched up. Bieniemy should have had a job 2 years ago, a head coaching job. The other thing is, why are we not looking at the college ranks? Why can't we find someone young that's up and coming, comparable to what Vrabel wants to run, and a style that also Malik Willis could possibly run in the NFL? And I'll hang up and listen from there.
Thank you for the call, Luke. I don't know that they're not looking at college coaches for potential upward advancement, but I haven't seen any names. Haven't heard any names around that at this point. I don't think they're ruling it out by any stretch of the imagination. Mike is obviously Vrabel is obviously very well connected in the world of college football. I mean, he has tried to hire a former college offensive coordinator to be his offensive coordinator before, Ryan Day. And then Ryan Day, made, I think, the correct decision to become the head coach at Ohio State, which is a much better pay as far as those positions are concerned. What are you smiling about back there?
I'm smiling at Sue Ann, one of our favorites, who tweets us, all coaches are psychopaths. On another note, Bieniemy, do we want someone whose name rhymes with enemy? Or maybe he could be our new best friend. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Vrabel promoted Todd Downing from within, so we see how that worked. It was quite a ride from Sue Ann.
I love that woman. I've never met her in my life, but I love her.
Best.
Do we want somebody who sounds like enemy? I don't know. There'd be what are those little like flip things you do on the phone where all the pictures of like kids in the stands with the Fire Todd Downing things on their phone, the sign, and it just come up with Bieniemy. I'm sure that wouldn't take long. The first Derrick Henry off the field on a 3rd and short situation. If Eric Bieniemy was to become the play caller, the T-shirts would be made around Sue Ann should honestly brand that at this point.
We're getting people in the chat, too, coming back saying that Bieniemy does call plays, that Andy Reid has said Bieniemy calls plays. I don't know what the actual situation is there.
So here's the thing, okay? When coaches say that, like when Mike Vrabel tells us, I'm involved on literally every play call, you should take him at his word on that. Like he's wearing the headset. You see Mike talking. Like Mike is involved in the play call, even though he's not actually calling the plays. But he is a part of the process. Now,
Part of the communication.
Bieniemy is on, it's not a singular thing. Like it's not just, there is one person talking to the quarterback. You can't have 75 people in the quarterback.
And that's Bieniemy.
Right.
Yeah, and he has input, and he's the one communicating with Pat Mahomes, but it's Andy Reid's offense.
Yes, and I want to correct a caller earlier who said they're just running whatever Mahomes wants to run. No, in fact, maybe in years past, Pat with Tyreek has been a little bit of that, or a little bit more of that, but we talked about this on Thursday or Friday. Patrick Mahomes is playing the quarterback position at a more refined level than at any other point in his career. It's disciplined. It's rhythmic. It's within the context of the system. That's not just running whatever Pat wants to run. Pat's running their offense because every quarterbacks get hit with system quarterback as if it's a slur, as if it's a derogatory term. No, every quarterback is coached to play within their system. They're all supposed to be system quarterbacks. You can't, and every once in a while, Josh Allen launches a rocket across the field because he can,